I'm starting. Hey. What do you have over there? Nobody ever gets to see you whenever we start.
I'm eating a donut.
Straight from the gut.
It's going straight to the gut.
Straight to the gut. Donuts, straight to the gut. Uh-oh, my mama's on here already.
I deserve donuts.
The weatherman is on here. Hey, everybody. Hey, I'm going to need you to turn that down. I know you, Renee. Hey.
Is it raining?
Maybe.
On the 5G?
Yeah, I'm on the 5G. Hopefully we can keep this going. Hey, Ryan Mudd. Good to have lunch with you today, friend. Hopefully the internet connection will stay going. So everybody, Kathleen, when you coming back, girl? We need you back. What's up with this grainy thing? So hopefully it will. Everybody, my name's Tommy. Good Time Tommy. Hashtag GTT. And if somebody shares this stream to tell you who I am, I'm a real estate agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and I like telling my story. I like to help people that maybe they are going through issues that I've gone through. Maybe I can help them prevent from going through some things. But I really, really, really like to get on here and talk about my past. I'm 44 years old, and this segment that I do, Straight from the Gut, it's really designed to talk to Tommy at 30. I wish I could go back at 30 years old and tell myself some of the stuff that we talk about. Last week, I had to talk to myself at 44 years old, right, Brittany Renee?
Yes.
I was about to ask, what are you going to ask, Mama? But I love to give back. I love to inspire. I love to help people. So that's the purpose of this show. If you are watching this, I do want you to know how much I appreciate you. I want to influence people, so the more people I can get to watch it, that's great. I do want you to share my stream, and what I mean by share, if you hit that little thing where you can share this onto your stream, it helps me build a bigger audience. And I do want to reward the people that share the stream. And my cousin, Nigel Capadia, he had a great idea. If you share my stream this week, what I'm going to do is I will let you have the slingshot for a day. As long as you can drive it, you got a driver's license, and as long as something happens to you, I'm not going to get in trouble. So if you share the stream, you get a free day on the slingshot, which is a 3-wheel car. It's kind of like a little Batmobile. It's got Good Time Tommy, hashtag GTT on the front of it. It is a very, very, very relaxing, fun experience. No drinking. Can't have people drinking on there, but it's a lot of fun. So everybody, please share the stream. You'll get a chance to have the slingshot. So I want the slingshot. Will, all you got to do is share the stream. I got a text today from my buddy Will Webb, and my last few Straight from the Guts. Me and my girlfriend Brittany Renee, we sit at our dining room table, and we do this together. And tonight I'm talking about the fear of abandonment. And my buddy Will sent me a text, and he's like, "Man, that's kind of I'm putting it out there." Well, here's what
common though. People don't realize it.
It is common.
Yeah.
It's very common because a fear of abandonment, it's the loss of something. And if we're going back to our childhood, we've all lost something. This one's going to hurt tonight. Will, it don't hurt me. Are you saying it's going to hurt you or it's going to hurt me? Because it's not going to hurt me. Whenever I went to meet my hero, my guru, Grant Cardone, we were talking about things, and he asked me this question. I can't exactly remember what the question was. And he said, "How do you feel about that? You don't feel good about that?" And I said, "No, I don't." He said, "It's okay. It's okay to not always feel good about things. People always want to turn the pain reliever off and not face the pain. But it's okay. I mean, it's okay to face problems, and it's okay that you've got a fear of abandonment. The problem with abandonment is not the fear of abandonment. It's how we handle our fears of abandonment. Hey, have you been in my notes?
No.
Who thinks Brittany Renee has been in my notes? Hey, Bill Shaw, hope you're doing well. So, how do you handle things? And I'm going to go back and I'm going to share some things that in my life, the abandonment fears that happened to me. It's okay not to be okay. That's right, Ryan Mudd. I think I ruined a lot of relationships. I ruined a lot of friendships because of this abandonment fear I had. My mom and dad, I went through a divorce. My mom had to really take me away from some things where my dad was battling a sickness that was very unhealthy for me and her, and he died a few years later. So those are abandonment fears. There was a loss there in my childhood, and those are things if you don't recognize, if you don't start working on, they will. My buddy Tony Woodall told me this tonight. They're like echoes that won't go away. Whenever you yell something and you hear the echoes going on. Our dogs at the, hey Mike French, look forward to chatting with you. Hey Clayton Whitaker. So these abandonment fears will haunt you until you learn how to address them. You've got to find ways to cope with them. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that you how you cope with them, because you hear Lucky, Coach, you know he's here. Hey, I followed your day today, Coach. It looks like you had a very productive day going all over. A lot of coaching up down in Birmingham area. So I think everybody on here can admit they've got some kind of fear of abandonment. But for me, if I'm tracing this back throughout my life, the problems that I would create when I started sensing these feelings would really, I'm just going to keep going back to this word, but it was a self-sabotage that I was experiencing. As a matter of fact, when me and Brittany Renee first started our 2-week agreement of whatever it was we started with, she kept telling me, I'm going to self-sabotage this. What that meant was my fears from my past were going to hold my future hostage. It wasn't going to allow me to enjoy things. And I think a lot of times we wreck our own lives. So, Brittany Renee, where'd you go? Are they coming in? What do you want? Hey, Robert Sislow. Sorry, I'm a little distracted. Abandonment causes us to want to be known and seen as places to moan. You know, that's in my notes, Coach. Some of my abandonment fears of my past probably would lead me into a needy position to where I needed more from those. My dog, Brittany's mom showed up. So dog's going crazy. Don't hang with people that spend around people that have come in the future. I do believe the past is not your future. I agree with that, Clay. 100%. Thank you for getting on here. Sorry, I'm distracted. So here's some don'ts whenever you've got be so productive. Robert, you could probably add a lot of knowledge on this. Robert Sislow is, in case you guys wondering, he is my guru at building a brand. He's the guy that coaches me and Kathleen. If you've seen my commercial on the Grant Cardone Network, he's my guy. Or you can push them away. Well, whenever you've got these abandonment fears, I think you consistently will push people away. I think that's part of it. I think you've got to learn. You've got to do a lot of heavy lifting to build an internal belief. And you've got to realize whenever these things happen, that's what's going on. This is something from your past. The echoes that you keep hearing, you've got to find a way. Hey, what are you kids doing? I've got an audience. How are you doing? What are you doing?
Checking up on you.
Oh. Everything. Ryan Mudd, you need to. So hey, here's how I'm gonna give you some don'ts. One of the things that I really struggled with probably was having unrealistic expectations of the other person. And that was something that I probably didn't even know was going on in my life. I didn't even realize it. I put so much I put too much on them way too soon, and that will really make you needy. And nobody wants to be around needy people, whether it's your girlfriend or maybe it's just your friends. But I was probably unaware at the time of how needy I was. Number two, and this is something that I really, really struggled. And this is pathetic, and I don't mind saying that. And that is manipulating your partner into doing things that make you feel more secure. That was something. Think about, hey, mama, thank you for getting back. So think about that. You would do things. Maybe you start a fight. Maybe you cause problems to see how they react. Have you ever done that? Well, it's so easy to see through that whenever you're dealing with somebody that has security. They kind of know what you're up to. You can't hide insecurity. And a lot of times we try to mask that. We try to play it off. But our actions, sooner or later, that energy that we're putting off, they can feel it. They know what we're up to. They know our little game. And I've got to be honest. To this day, Ryan Mudd, I have trust issues. I mean, that's just in me. And just because I have these trust issues does not mean they're right. That does not mean the way I feel could be real, but that don't mean it's right. Ain't that right, Coach Bird? So yes, today I have crazy ass trust issues where, maybe it's not the fact that maybe they would lie to me. It's just trusting that they're going to be there if they're going to stay in this. So what I'm going to do in my past, what I would do is I would find some way to get to my security, and my security would be to go ahead and squelch my feelings and try to move on. Everybody that's sharing, I appreciate it. If you share the stream, you are eligible to have the slingshot for a day. That is a 3-wheel motorcycle. Clay, you're in Louisiana. Cislo, you're in Miami. I doubt you're going to come up to Nashville to do it, but maybe you would. So that's one of the things I would go into as my protection in relationships from my past because of these abandonment fears. Maybe I could sense something was from my past. These are all things that are going on, which does not mean that it's real. I would start to sense something. I've got a sick feeling that this is about to happen because they said this, they did this. I'm overanalyzing things like crazy. And what I start to do is I put up my wall. I try to push them away because I feel safer. I either want the relationship to be at 0, which would be over, or at 10, which that means 100% commitment. Looking to see if we've got any questions. I don't have my sidekick. Sorry about that. And I appreciate all the likes, all the shares. I appreciate all the people that have been on here. So I was very guilty of feedback. I'm glad you're on here. So I was so guilty, and it's easy for me to admit this. I've got enough security in myself today to say I used to manipulate my partners into doing things that made me feel better about me. How many of you are doing that? So what we're probably never going to overcome. We're never probably going to eliminate. Some people can, but most of us will not eliminate our past, what's happened to us. So that fear of abandonment's always going to be there, which is okay. But whenever these emotions start flaring up, because that's what it is, you've got to learn to understand. You've got to train your mind first off that what you're experiencing is new. Not predict the future, like what Clayton said earlier. So don't allow your emotions to hold you to that belief. So another thing that I would do is I would disguise, this is pathetic to say too, but I wrote this down, and straight from the gut is about me being honest with me, because this forces me to become more secure. But I would disguise my neediness. I would act coy. I would be cool, or I'd get pissed off. I'd get mad. So those were kind of my two emotions that kept me in my safe zone. I would either be cool guy and act like things wouldn't bother me, even though on the inside they were just tearing me apart and making me miserable. Or the easy thing to do with these abandonment fears is you just get mad. You get so mad so easy. And thank you for the idea on the slingshot. Shane Ray, how are you doing, friend? If you share the stream tonight, you can be eligible to win a date with the slingshot. So think about this. So often in the present, you get upset with something that is not really a big enough deal to be mad about. Usually, it's like Tony Woodall said. These are the echoes. You're hearing the echoes. You're hearing something, and you may not even remember. You may not even have a conscience of what you're really mad about or what's really driving this insecurity. This is just something that's a part of you that's happened in your past, and you have not found a way to deal with it. You have not dealt with it. You may think you're over it, but I'll talk to people all the time and tell them, hey, you're not over that. And they, oh, yeah, I'm over that. Well, what I mean by that is that I'm not saying that you want to be back in that position or you want to be back with that person or whatever the scenario is. But what I'm saying is you're not over it because it's still impacting how you react to things. You've got to get a clear conscience past all that. So anger, I handled so much with anger. And I couldn't, hey, I'll get you on there, Nigel. If you share this stream, you could be one of the front runners to win this. So then with that abandonment fear, I would react a lot of times when I didn't get my way from being a baby. I knew I could react out of anger, and it was either going to do one or two things. It's either going to push them away. It would push them away, which would make me feel, hey, okay, I'm not going to get hurt. I pushed them away. I'm in my little safe area. Or the pathetic thing is I would get a reaction out of them. And so often I think we're trying to manipulate people, me included. And I'm not saying this is what I'm continuing to do today. I'm sure I still have moments where I do that. But I was a prime suspect, prime target in my past where I would get mad and do something to manipulate something to make me feel better. I would want some type of validation from that person. And that's what these abandonment fears do. So these are the don'ts. So how can you get past these abandonment fears? Because we've all got them. Some people can get through them easier. Some people probably don't battle the fear of rejection. They don't battle other fears of loss. Hey, Carrie Latham is in here. The multi-million. Hey, Clay, when are you going to come up here? So what can we talk about? I do try to add value into people. You know, that's one of the things. As a matter of fact, I'd like to do an episode on, would you rather add value and create a purpose in people, or would you rather make money? And, you know, if I know, like my buddy Roy Frazier, hey, the insurance guru who just joined, he does believe this, and he's right. We do things for the money, but that is not my primary purpose. You know, I want to do things to help me make more money. My goal is for 130,000 people in this town to know who I am. Ultimately, the more people that know me will help me. Teresa, what about codependent? My issue is rescuing. It caused me a lot of issues. I've got the same issues with some codependency. It's hard for me sometimes to let go of things, and I don't know if we've got enough time, and I'm definitely not enough of an expert to talk about this, but I'm just talking about myself and these abandonment fears that I've had, where I feel like I can tell my story because I've lived my story. Everybody's got their own, but I wish that I could have communicated much better in my past. My past was terrible. I would try to build people up, or I would try to tear them down, unfortunately. And these were the people that were close to me. Whenever tensions arose, tension would be conflict. And whenever the conflict would go up, especially if I was talking with people that may be smarter than me, the only way I could level the playing field would probably to get ugly, say something mean, or try to cut them down. And again, those are those things. I was trying to disguise my lack of knowledge, or I wasn't as smart as them. I was trying to disguise it, but I was doing it by beating them up. And these people that were more secure and more intelligent than me, they can easily pick up on that stuff. Hi, buddy. How are you doing? Hey, my sidekick's over there. Okay, so what can we do to help overcome your fears of abandonment? Excuse me, I don't have any water. Hey, will you bring me that water, please? Got my producer in here. Thank you very much.
Sorry about the disruption.
Hey, everybody needs to go like my girl's page. The boutique, Exchange Boutique, Murfreesboro. Stevie Z, how are you doing, friend? Stevie, share slingshot. So, hey, stop beating yourself up. You didn't cause this fear of abandonment. It just happened to you. It's not your fault. So, it's hard whenever these things happen to not beat yourself up. That's one of the things that I'm probably too hard on myself. I'm getting better over the last few years because I've added things into my life that help me understand me better and understand outcomes better and understand the people that are around me better. So you got to stop beating yourself up. Hey, Richard Neese, how you doing, friend? Wish I could have been on that sprinter with you today, buddy. It looks like you're doing a great job with them agents down in Birmingham in the North Alabama. So how many of you people are beating yourself up whenever you do something? You're just so hard on yourself. You're really just chopping away at your own self-confidence when you do this. Sorry, I've been talking all day and it's hard for me. My throat, I'm getting old. You got to understand that you didn't cause this fear of abandonment. It just happened to you. There's nothing you could have done about it because usually this always happens at beer helps. I'm on such a strict diet right now, Will. 21-day challenge with Rod Key. I can barely eat. Hell, I can't hardly eat a chip. Brittany caught me eating one chip and a pita chip and some hummus and about threw a fit. I want a little cup of Diet 7-Up. Didn't even do that. Hey, Jason. That have happened to you that you can't do anything about. You can't go back. I can't go back and fix me at 30. It's too late. But what I can do is fix me at 44. I started doing this at about 36 years old, which the biggest regret I've got is I did not start taking self-development. I didn't start doing this at a much sooner age, and it makes me feel like I'm so far behind. You know, I was having lunch with a buddy of mine tonight, or had lunch with a buddy of mine today. He's 35 years old, and I understand how many times do I feel like I've been abandoned? I don't know. I mean, we have abandonment. Think about how many different ways you can be abandoned. There's just no way you can prevent from being. There's things that are going to happen to you that you just can't do nothing about. A girl's going to break your heart. That's going to leave you with an abandonment scar. Teachers could have let you down. There's other people that just let you down in your life, and there's no way that you can overcome that. I mean, a lot of people think it's just the parent. It's the mom or the dad that led to the fear of abandonment, but that's just part of it. I mean, you can have a fear of abandonment over, so you could have lost your job. You could have lost a sale. You could have lost things that you valued so much during that time. You lost it. It can affect you. It can be what I'm going to keep going back to is it's the echoes you keep hearing. You know, you say something and it keeps going and going and going. Well, life is like that. This abandonment is like that. If something happened a long time ago, you start to predict, this happened then, this is affecting me in the future. And that was something for me with income. I could not have the breakthroughs that I wanted for so long because I used the past so much as my gauge of what was going to happen in the future. Wake up every day and ask, Gordon, how can I Who can I help? The old heart has been broken for sure. Well, for me, I always protected my heart so much, Stevie. It was hard for me to get a broken heart because I was so limited on how much I was willing to go in. That fear of abandonment. I was protecting myself. I did not want to go all in and not believe they're going to be there. So I would sabotage. There's probably a lot of great things that could have happened to me, which is okay because I'm happy with where I'm at right now, and I wouldn't have it any other way. But there's things that happened to me that probably shouldn't have. I sabotaged. And this isn't just relationships. These are probably friendships. These are business opportunities. These could look like several different things other than just a relationship. So you got to accept the fear as being human. You just got to accept it. It's human. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to have these doubts. We feel better though if we don't have any fear. We try to lie to ourselves and say that we're not scared. But you know what? For me, it's a lot easier. I feel a lot more confident. I'm a lot more at peace when I just say I'm okay with this. I'm not going to try to hide this. This is the truth, because I'm always looking for the truth. I'm not trying to change what the truth is. So when I started making some big shifts from this into my new life is when I took 100% responsibility that this is hold on, I'm off right here. I can't read my handwriting. You guys have, hey, where's Lucky? Okay. So I do is don't you got to take 100% responsibility when the fear erupts instead of expecting your partner to fix it for you. Be a man of action, not a man of fear. So I think for so long I was dumping this problem. I needed the validation from the other person involved, whether it was a girlfriend. Hey, I was married for 7 months. Ex-wife. A lot of people didn't know I was married but I was putting this big burden on them, making me feel better about me. I would try to manipulate. I would try to position myself to where they would say something or they would do something to make me feel better about me. Well, you've got to take 100% responsibility. It's your decision. This is something that you're going to have to fix yourself. And this really is going to lead me into the last thing. I've been going about 30 minutes, and I know people don't want to stay on here all night and listen to this, but you've got to commit to the reality that this is an inside job. And what I mean, I believe confidence, there's only one kind of confidence, and that is internal self-confidence. And you cannot build internal self-confidence externally. People are going to say that. Well, you give somebody something externally, whether it's money, whether it's fame, whatever it is. But if you remove that, you've got to build internal self-confidence. And unfortunately, you can't delegate any of this. You cannot. This is something that you've got to do yourself. That takes time. It takes discipline. It's a habit forming process, and you've got to train yourself. You've got to train yourself that you're gonna get better, but forever. I'm a very emotional person, and what I mean by that is my emotions lead to my decisions, whether it's anger, whether it's joy, whatever it is. I'm very, very led by emotions. But what I had to do is I've had to train myself to verify my emotions. What do you mean you got a backup plan, Mama? You trying to get rid of me? So I think you've got to train yourself that whatever you're feeling, whatever you're thinking, whatever you're being led to believe, it may not be right. It may be fake. Feelings are real, but that don't make them right. That's what Coach Burt told me. So I'm a big believer that whenever you hear something, whenever you're getting this data, Your emotions are controlling you. You've got to slow down. Really, the best thing to do is to write things down. You got to put them on paper, and then you need to start analyzing the facts. So, I don't believe in backup plans, Mama, because a backup plan always moves to the front. So, that's my opinion. But I'm a big believer in it helps me. It helps me with my life whenever I talk about these things. And again, it's okay to acknowledge. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging your weaknesses. There's nothing wrong with acknowledging that you're not perfect. There's nothing wrong with that, but too often where our insecurity comes from, I believe, or one of the areas it comes from, is when you try to pretend something's not what you really think or what you really believe. You're hoping for something that that's not true. I don't know if I'm making sense right now. My dog is out there going crazy on that door. I apologize. We had Brittany Renee's mom pop in here, and we're a little off key tonight. So my sidekick's not in here. Do we have any questions, or is there anything that you'd like to know about my abandonment? You're making sense. Thank you, Will Webb. Will, do you battle abandonment fears? Do you understand what these fears do to you? Do you understand that what happened in the past should not predict what's going to happen in the future? I know they say history repeats itself, but in relationships, I kind of made you cry. How'd I make you cry? Talking about my life. Is my life making you cry, Fedak? Hey, I'm happy with my life. It helps me to understand me more whenever I can say, you know what, this is where I was. This is what I really struggled with. This is where I was. But Will, I think we all have traces of similarity. I think we all have things that have happened to us. And it doesn't mean backup plan usually leads to the front. Will, you're younger than me. It's okay. The backup plan, if you have, Tim James told me this one time. His dad told him if he was going to have, if you've got your plan A, your plan B would be your backup plan. He said if you create a plan B, it will eventually become plan A, is what I mean by that. Well, if we're honest with ourselves, Ryan, I think we all face this. And the people that are the happiest, I'm the happiest when I'm full disclosure. You know, I'm probably the least secure with myself is when I'm trying to put something out there that represents something that I'm not. That's the hardest thing you can do. The easiest thing that I think people can do is own who they are and understand wherever you are, whatever your being is in this moment. Own it. There's nothing probably more attractive to other people than somebody just owning who they are. That is a very, very confident thing. You know, I'm around people all the time, and man, they don't try to fake who they are. They just, these can just be some old rough country redneck boys that I might be around, and they just are, they're who they are. They don't try to impress anybody, and you just see it. They're very transparent, and I think they live a happier life. Trying to impress living for the good opinion of other people it's definitely not a good recipe. Because I did that for many years, and it made me miserable trying to live up. Here's what I was trying to do. I was wanting people to think highly of me. I was trying to create high expectations, and then I was trying to live up to the good opinion of that person, which is wrong. It's very, very, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but I can tell you that it will lead to, every day we wake up with so much confidence, and this is some of those things that just start chipping away at your confidence. You've got to wake up, protect your confidence every single day. Every single day, you've got to wake up and do something to build and protect your confidence. And you can't allow other people to take your confidence away from you. A lot of people will do that. A lot of times we give people that power to do that. What's your finance? A backup plan. Well, swag. That's right, Will Webb. How's your swag right now? And I really believe everything does start with our thoughts. You know, you've got to start telling yourself, this is my belief system and this is where I'm going in. And what you're seeing today, I've been on this road for about probably 7 years, and I didn't start to really become happy with where things were probably until 3 years ago, because I feel like I was behind. I was immature. I didn't apply myself like other people told me I should, like I told myself. And when you're not living up to your own potential, it's very depressing. And I wasn't depressed, but I was not where I should be. I'm still nowhere near where I should be. I'm running out of voice here, so I apologize. Will, you gonna be in the gym tomorrow? Who all has shared the stream that may get a date on the slingshot? You may not want to ride it when it's 110 degrees, 130 degrees like it's been. But I think you've got to force yourself to look at your weaknesses. And I'm not a big proponent of going out and working on your weaknesses, because I don't want to go spend. But what I do want to do is identify deficiencies in my life for, like, this pretty girl that's, well, hey, where have you been?
I'm back. I'm so sorry.
Hey, you've missed the whole show.
I know. My aunt and my mom.
Did
you tell the story?
Well, I was kind of lost because.
I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mama.
My aunt lives in Indiana. I haven't seen her in so long.
Brittany Renee's aunt from Indiana showed up. I think They still showed up. So, hey, you've missed half the show, Brittany Renee. Is there anything or any question you'd like to ask me? Because whenever me and Brittany Renee, I'm going to say this, because whenever me and Brittany Renee, hey Nicole, whenever me and Brittany Renee get in fights, I'm not saying this is what I want to do, but I'm just going to say this is what fear of abandonment. I wish you'd have been here so we could talk about this. Here's what fear of abandonment does to me. Whenever we get into a fight. It make you get defensive, but it'll also. And I have to admit that these are the emotions that your emotions are telling you, I don't need to do this. I just need to get out of this. That's what the fear of abandonment does. It leads you to safety, and you feel like, well, the safest thing for me to do is get out of this. I'm miserable. My emotions are running my life. They're telling me all these things. But again, emotions are just crazy ass things going on in your head. That don't mean they're right.
Right.
Do you believe that?
Yeah. You tell yourself how to feel.
You gotta give her the cliff notes. Well, what are you doing over there?
I'm going back trying to read comments.
I don't know how
to catch up.
Well, CBC said give her the. Hey, Stevie.
So I have a question from the audience.
Let me say one thing to Stevie. Hey, Stevie, I've been very impressed by all the things you got going on. Me and Jughead were talking about that today. What's the question?
Is there anything in particular about being with me that makes you feel?
Who asked that question?
Me.
Oh, you said the audience. Is there anything about me with my fear of abandonment? Boy, this is a tough question.
Well, I remember in the beginning of this, whenever I was present, you said that you ruined a lot of friendships and relationships because of this fear of abandonment. And here we are in a relationship.
Well, remember, you kept telling me I was going to sabotage this. I was going to sabotage this. I was going to sabotage this. And maybe I was on my way to sabotage
it. It's a trap.
It is a trap. But no, these are things, if you can have open conversations with your partner and express how you feel and trust that they're not going to go crazy on you, this is healthy. She may punch me in the face after we get off here. But do I feel better? Thanks for sharing, Nicole. I feel safer with you? Yes, I do. I feel safer with. Hey, we got a sick kid up there. What's going on up there? Crazy stuff happening tonight. So yeah, I do feel I enjoy the whole about time you get on here. You got some questions. Oh, the feeling. Hey, Will, Will, do you have a hard time expressing your feelings? If you have a hard time expressing your feelings, you're going to have a hard time getting feelings from who you're with. You're both in protection mode. That's what happens. If I'm a certain way, I'm probably going to attract something similar back to me. Well, why do you have such a hard time? Do you have a Teddy Wall? Hey, I'm on a diet, Teddy. Getting ready. Why are you so protective of your feelings? What is it? What is it that you're scared of? Is there an outcome that you don't want to hear? Can you ask yourself, why do I not want to express my feelings? Why do you not want to? Why do you want to walk around? Because, hey, are you trying to... I've got an answer or a question for you, Will. In the past, I didn't want to show my cards first. So what I was trying to do was manipulate something from them first, so you don't get hurt. Okay. Well, do you think by not expressing your feelings will allow you to not get hurt? Because the feelings are still there. I mean, just because you're not expressing them doesn't mean they're going away. You can't just make them go away. So, are you scared? Are you scared to be told no? Are you scared of rejection? Those are some other things that we can talk about, but all this in hand. So, walking around with fear, period, I can push them down. I can push them down till they go away. What do you mean you can push? Oh, okay. You can push the feelings down? Okay, well, why? How long do you want to live where you're scared? And hey, I'm not saying that I didn't live like this either, Will. I'm just challenging your questions. I'm challenging your beliefs. How long do you want to continue to live like that, where you're scared to get hurt? You know, a lot of people may not know this, but I'm terrified of flying. I hate to fly. I probably fly 4 to 5 times a year, and for me to get on an airplane, usually Baca or whatever I can get my hands on, but I don't like to fly. Usually what we're fearful of never pans out. Usually we're fearful of something that will never happen. Tiffany, I'm a people pleaser, and a lot of times being a people pleaser is a great thing until it's time to not be a people pleaser, and then I struggle so hard with letting people down. That's what God made. Did God make whiskey for airplane rides or for relationships?
To get over everything is what he's saying, I think.
That's what God made. Well, again, the medication will not help you get over things.
It's an instant gratification.
It is. Well, Brittany probably helped me. Brittany came along at the right time. It was a good time medicine, because I had finally understood my past. I understood all these crazy things that we're talking about tonight. So when she came into the picture, myself. But again, I'm an immature person. I'm 44 years old, and I'm very, very, very immature. I've always been an immature kid. My mom held me back in the 2nd grade because I was immature. So I, unfortunately, didn't develop as fast as I would have wanted me to. Does that make?
Still developing.
Of course, I'm still developing. We're all still developing. You got to develop. You got to keep getting better every day. But Will, back to you, friend. You got to identify these fears. You've got to find out what you're scared of. Why are you holding yourself back? Because it's holding you back in a lot of areas. I prefer the term young at heart. I am young at heart. No, you didn't. What are you talking about, Mama? How are you doing all those likes over there? Do you have any questions? Hey, I'm on the hot seat right here. So, Brittany, Ray, you like to hear questions or hear me talk? Do you have any questions for me? Hey, how many people will do this right here on live television with millions of people watching?
What? Ask me questions?
Get in the hot seat. I do this to Cousin Charlie all the time. Come on.
What?
You ain't got a question? You go me some questions.
Like I missed so much.
Well, you've missed everything, but you should just ask me a question. You got guts. Will, you know what? If you'll become fully transparent and not care what other people say, I'm telling you, it is such a, what is the word?
Tough guy?
Oh, I would go tough guy.
Disguise your neediness as
I would disguise.
Cool.
She's going through my notes back whenever the don'ts is whenever my feelings were hurt, I would go what I call tough guy. I would act like I didn't care.
Hey, I did it too.
I try to hide my feelings.
You used to call me out.
Will, are you trying to hide your feelings? I would hide my feelings to make them show their cards first. Manipulation at its finest, which is pathetic. I just put all
my stuff out there.
How can you see what? I ain't saying you got to do that. Is there any circumstance that could change within the next 12 months that would allow you to buy a house? Stevie Z, that a boy. Stevie, you're getting better. You and cousin Charlie y'all going to take this to the next level. We're going to start training people much different over there at JJRE. Throw a question at me. Anything? Hey, you've missed the whole show and you can't come up. You can't come up with one little question.
I know. I feel terrible.
Well,
I did ask you a question.
Well, okay. Is that the only question you got before we shut it down? Well, give me something.
So, what do you tell yourself in our situation now or in current life when you start feeling this fear of abandonment to make yourself snap out?
Well, something usually happens for me to start feeling that way. You're doing something that I don't like. Okay? No, but I might be doing something that you didn't like to cause that. A lot of times there's just things floating around, and a lot of times these are problems from our past. It's not us. Why did you trust Tommy? I'm going to get off here. Nice having lunch with you. Thank you, buddy. Why did I trust Brittany? A lot of it was about timing, Will. I was in a good spot. A lot of times, naturally, I've never really trusted people. I don't know why. It's just something I didn't feel. I just did not have the stomach. I didn't have the guts. I didn't have the confidence to trust people. I didn't give them a chance, and this was not their fault. This wasn't their fault. This was my fault. Maybe I was lacking something. Because, again, you can't give away something that you don't possess. So, excuse me. At first, I don't know. It was just very easy with Brittany. But again, there was so much of this came down to timing because I had worked on myself for so long. I was Mr. Perfect, so I thought. And then I think she was in a good spot. So when two people
our confidence was in line.
Two people.
And plus, Mr. Webb, I'm very trustworthy. I'm a very trustworthy gal.
She says she's very trustworthy. Why do we not trust people? It comes back to our fear of abandonment. That's why I struggled with it. Not trusting it's going to last. So what do? I don't even give it a chance. I sabotage things.
You started to in the beginning.
I did try to sabotage. You did say she's the one. Hey, Stevie, don't get on here and start giving away all my don't give away all my manipulation powers.
Hey. You tell me that every day.
She is the one. Yes, I am sure you are trustworthy.
Most of our struggles are a result of past experiences and
Of course they are, Joji Holt. Everything is from our past. That's why we struggle. That's why we had these fear of abandonments. It is. And it's like it's the echoes, friends. It's the echoes that we're hearing. We're not hearing what we're hearing in the moment. We're hearing the past echoes over what we're hearing in the moment. Does that make sense? A lot of times, if you're mad at me, you've gotten mad at me.
I like that.
What?
The echoes.
It's the best advice to conquer. The best advice to conquer the abandonment fears. Joji, I went through it. Number one, you got to stop beating yourself up. You didn't cause it. You weren't the reason for it. You can't. Number two, you got to accept the fear. It's a human. It's just the way it is. You got to accept it. Don't try to change it. Accept it. Don't argue with it. Don't just accept it is. You got to take 100% responsibility when the fear erupts instead of expecting your partner to fix it. Number 4, commit to the reality that this is an inside job. And when I say that, that means you're building the internal confidence yourself.
Finish and then answer that question. You have a 5th, right?
No.
No?
Well, here's what I wrote down. I had to train, this is powerful. I had to train myself to verify my emotions. And how do you give advice to
actually take the time before you react?
Yes, but think about that. Usually when we hear something and...
it comes out like word vomit.
Yes, it just bam. Yeah. It's just like simultaneous.
Linda says, Joey, you know you're a cute guy.
So, Joey, and how to give advice to someone who's obviously struggling but not open to admitting it. Man, I think so often we don't connect to people because we don't acknowledge things. We try to talk to people without acknowledging how they feel. We immediately try to change their mind.
You're talking to them, not with them.
Yeah. So it's hard. If you're trying to give someone advice and they're struggling and not open to admitting it, I take full responsibility there, Joey, that I'm not communicating right. A lot of people don't want to say that, but I mean, if I'm not breaking through to Brittany, I've got to find a way to communicate with her to where she's going to listen. Now, a lot of times, maybe she's not open to what I've got to say, but that's her problem because it could be from her past, and that's something that she's got to overcome. Rough country, like even in a business negotiation.
Did he receive my payment?
I don't know. Jackson, did you receive Brittany Renee's payment? Lucky's in here. Looks like he's about to have a heat stroke.
It's hot out there.
It is hot. So, Joey, I don't know if that's helping, but, you cannot communicate with people if you can't connect with them first. You've got to find a way to get in an agreement of they trust what you're saying. They trust you. You can be right and still not be convincing. You didn't have to spend, hey, every Thursday night, listen, acknowledge, isolate, value. That's exactly right. Good community takes. One has to listen, not hear. Listen. You always, Richard, what I teach everybody in our sales training is the first step to a sale is listen. Number 2 is acknowledge. You've got to find some way to find an agreement. There's so much power. You cannot argue agreement. But so often we try to present our case to change somebody's mind. We don't listen. We don't acknowledge. We just immediately go into our facts. We go into our case. We're attorneys over here, and we're showing this is our case. Look at this. This is why I'm right. Negotiate. Compromise is good too. Sometimes people don't want to compromise. Sometimes people can't compromise because of their past. How do you diffuse an emotional argument? You agree with them. How do you diffuse an emotional argument? You agree. Would you rather be right or would you rather be happy? You can't diffuse an emotion. First off, remember this, Joji. You can't fight emotions with facts. Just don't work. Because when you're emotional, it does not matter. When I'm emotional, there you go, Stevie Z, empathize. So whenever you're dealing with somebody that's emotional, they don't want the problem fixed. They don't want to be anything other than understood. They just want to be understood during that time. Hey.
They're having a pool party.
We've got all kind of stuff. Happiness is within. Once confidence is there, diffusing is easier. You know, Tiffany, that's exactly right. Happiness is a choice. Once confidence is there, diffusing.
Yeah. mean, you can't be happy on the outside with somebody unless you're happy by yourself.
Okay, if someone wants to be right, how bad does the other person want to be right, Joji? How bad would the other person say? Who's fighting harder to be right? Who's fighting harder to settle the agreement or the argument? Because arguments don't do any good. I read How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie, and really, it does absolutely no good to have an argument and win. It doesn't do any good at all, because let's say if me and Brittany Renee had an argument. She's a tough arguer opponent because she's so feisty. But let's just say if I win the argument, that doesn't mean that my life is going to be any better because I won that argument. Does that make sense, Joey? This dog. Who wants a boxer?
Hey.
We're trying to get rid of this dog.
There's no price tag on him.
Some people, I think there's a study done, Richard, where there's probably I don't know if there's a more powerful addiction for people than the addiction to being right. Some people, I don't even know if they realize how often they've got to be right. Know-it-alls, I don't think know that they've got a disease of just being a jackass and they always have to be right. I hate the fact that I go into Mr. Know-it-all. I hate that. Mansplainer. So we've got codes around here. If I start mansplaining, or if I'm being that guy, I know I become.
You have to explain what mansplaining is, because a lot of people might not.
Well, it's really an obnoxious way of stating the obvious, I guess, is the best way to. Mansplaining. It's an obnoxious way of explaining something that's Captain Obvious. Just so easy. Hey, turn right. You got to turn right, then whatever. And she knows how to. That's one of the times. But healthy boundaries make healthy agreements.
All men know mansplaining.
Hey, I appreciate everybody that's been on here. I've been going an hour. I know my signal's kind of weak. The book, The Go-Giver. Yeah, I've read The Go-Giver. Sometimes that person always thinks they're right. Oh, yeah, Mommy, you're exactly right. Sometimes people think they're always right. And it is just hard to deal with those kind of people. That's why you've got to make the decision at some point. If you're around somebody that's doing that, if they always think they're right, it's going to be up to you to how you deal with that. Thanks everybody that has shared this. We will go back and probably Kathleen's gone until next week. So next week I will announce a winner. Or, hey, if there's any trustworthy people that want to take their wife or their girlfriend out in my slingshot, just contact me, send me a message. As long as you're not...
Stick shift.
You got to be able to drive a stick shift. You got to have insurance and driver's license, and you can't drink and drive. But if you ever want to take that slingshot out. Will Webb, you know what? You could be a co-host anytime. If you want,
next Thursday.
If you want to come over Thursday night... 8 o'clock, we'll let you. Whatever you want to talk about. I'm an open book.
We had not a good friend.
I don't know. Hey, Tiffany, maybe you can get some business on here from some of these. Will Webb's an insurance guy. Maybe he may be able to help you. You may be able to help him. Ain't that right? Will, we need to get you on here. What are you willing to talk about? I think, that was a breakthrough I had. Whenever I was willing to not hide anything, even if it was, so embarrassing. Good night, Mama. I love you. I'll call you tomorrow. Even if it was something, I don't know if you guys ever watched Seinfeld, but George Costanza one time, he introduced himself and he told this girl he was however old, he didn't have a job, and he lived with his mother. And everybody was flocking to George Costanza. Did you ever see that one? He was so open and he was so confident about who it is. Whenever you're an open book about who you are, it's so much easier.
It's very attractive.
It's so much easier to live with confidence as opposed to being timid. Walking around timid is a sign of not being confident.
Right.
Hey, I've been going about an hour. I didn't know I'd go this long, but I love doing this. This is actually what I like doing it's what I like doing the most. His mom. Does he live with his mama? Hey, all these inside quotes, all these inside jokes we have, Joey Holt. We've got hundreds of them. Any more questions? Do you have a question? Brittany Renee, before we shut this down, any question?
No, baby.
Tiffany, I need you on here every Thursday, 8 o'clock. You ain't got one
Tiffany,
question.
I missed like the whole thing, so don't
Tiffany
feel so
was
bad.
out babysitting. She was out. You don't have one question about my...
Maybe I had 2 questions that I asked.
But you don't have any more.
Not anymore.
Why not?
I'm done. I'm all out. All out of questions.
Any other questions before we go to bed? It's my bedtime. My trainer's killing me. But I am going to lose 20 pounds. Joey Holt, I will be under 200 pounds. What do you think? Do you think I'll be under 200 pounds? Mm-hmm. Do you? Mm-hmm. All right, guys. Hey, every Thursday night I'm wanting to talk about very, very vulnerable topics. The Exchange Boutique is awesome, I must say. Hey, everybody.
Aww.
Stevie, that's
Stevie.
That's really cool. Hey, my girlfriend, Brittany Renee, no bread, no fried foods. That's right. My girlfriend, Brittany Renee, she has opened up the Exchange Boutique.
It's not open yet.
It's open. She's not saying it, but it's open because she's got clothes. She's selling stuff online. It's in progress.
I'm not selling anything online yet.
Well, I ain't telling people it ain't open, but it's on Spring Street, and I am going to give a little plug. I did give my girlfriend a rare love today on the social media because I'm very, very proud of what she's done. She's encouraged me, and you know what? I think a lot of times, guys, you need to spend more time, and I'm not saying I do this enough, but you should always encourage who you're with. You should always be positive because I think that comes back to you whenever I do that. I mean, you make me feel better about me. So today I just made a post early this morning because it's really cool to wake up and see Brittany. Well, she doesn't get up when I get up, but the moment she's up, she is on her job. And she took a leap of faith and she decided she's going to do this. And I know she is going to be more successful than she thought she would be. She's going to be way more successful. And it's really cool to see somebody that's working within their purpose. And it's a really cool thing. So, hey, you need to go like her page.
I love you. Thank you.
Bah! We don't have to get on here and do that kind of stuff. So,
let's go cuddle.
We don't talk about that gross stuff. But I do love you, Brittany Renee.
I love you, baby.
But everybody, come up there and check out. If you're a girl, hey, lady.
Hey, I've even had guys reaching out to me.
Yeah, she's not doing any. She's not consigned. Cousin Charlie. Hey, that's another thing. But what if a guy doesn't know what size his girl is? Maybe we could do something about that one day.
Wow.
That'd be tough. I mean, I don't know, and they probably.
You look in their shoes in their closet.
What if they wanted to get them pants or a shirt or something?
You look at their clothes.
Does everything?
It's an easy way to just.
Does everything? Okay. Well, she's got a solution for you. So.
Yeah.
Joji, thank you for being on here, everybody. I really appreciate you. Every Thursday night we do Straight from the Gut, where I'm gonna talk about very, very vulnerable things that I don't mind sharing because become a better person. It helps me being open about my past and where I was and what I've overcome and what I'm doing. What it does, it makes me walk around more. That's watching, you should do the same thing. You should just be open and admit who you are. Mama, you're back on. Hey, everybody, I'm going to bed, but I do appreciate everybody that's been on here. I'll be back next Thursday night. I've been going like an hour and 4 minutes.
Good night, guys.
Good night. Hey, please share somehow, some way. It's ended up on your stream. Please share. Please like. Please comment. Please go to GoodTimeTommy.com.